What's up, guys and gals? My name is Splattercat, and we are here for the inaugural episode of Faster Than Fridays. What is Faster Than Fridays? Well, it's an idea that I had where we would play Faster Than Light every single Friday. And the way this is going to work is this is going to be completely unbroken, so you're going to get an entire FTL run. Some days it's going to be shorter than others. Some Fridays are definitely going to be more profitable than the ones that preceded them. I'm not very good at this game, but part of the process of getting better at the game, I think, is going to be making this video series. After I play each time, you guys can tell me where I maybe went wrong, how I can improve my strategy. I've played at this point about 50 games of Faster Than Light. I've never won, ever. You can look at my played stats on Steam. I am pretty horrific at this game, but I still enjoy it. I'm a lot better at Binding of Isaac, but I feel like there's a lot of people out there playing Binding of Isaac. There's a lot of competition. Faster Than Light, it's popular, but I like the sci-fi a little bit better than Binding of Isaac anyway, so let's do it. New game. Our first playthrough, I think we're gonna go with the Kestrel on our first playthrough. Now I have unlocked 2 or 3 different ships, and each week we'll play with like a different one. We'll try out different strategies. Honestly, the game is gonna force your hand a little bit as you play. It's gonna change our strategies. Depending on whether you're familiar with this game or not, it is a roguelike, a very, very difficult roguelike. In fact, probably one of the more difficult ones that I've ever seen when it comes to like dealing with random number generators, kind of just kicking you in the balls. But at the same time, the game does like to throw a hefty amount of luck at you, but most of it is pretty adaptable. I've seen very few situations where there wasn't like something you could have done better to at least increase your chances of survival. So let's start it off. All games are going to be on normal. Alright, it says, if you don't know what this game is, the data you carry is vital to the remaining Federation fleet. You'll need supplies for the journey, so make sure to explore each sector before moving to the target. Get to the next exit before the pursuing rebel fleet can catch up. Alrighty, well, the first thing I like to do in all of my playthroughs is to pick some guys, so we're going to take Jorlak here. And Jorlak, we're going to send him to deal with our weapons. I think Bovi is going to be our engines guy, and you'll see that the way that I've arranged this is so the top guy in my formation, Notch, is our pilot, our middle guy goes to the middle of the ship, and our bottom guy goes to the back of the ship. That's just an organizational tool that I personally like to use. I'd also like to apologize. If I sound a little stuffed up right now, I've actually finally caught the virus that's flying around my university. And so I don't know how long my voice is going to hold out, but I really wanted to get this episode done so we could start this series off. Let's go ahead and pick a sector here. We've got a store right up front. We've got kind of a fork of choices here. The fork of choices. I think with the fork of choices, I'm going to completely and totally fork myself by going down to the bottom, and we'll stick with that. Alright, so an advanced rebel automated ship remains stationed near a small space station. It's a storage vessel for military goods. I think we're going to go with this one. It looks like he's got a missile launcher and maybe a burst laser. He's got 1 shield, so I think we're going to get in. Oh, he's also got a drone. That should make this kind of interesting. So what we might think about doing in this case is being able to dodge might be a tad more important. I'm going to drop power out of my medbay and put power into my engines. You'll see that it's raised my evade to 20%. It's not very good evade, but it's better than nothing. I'm going to start with an Artemis missile that's going to go straight to his weapons, and then a burst laser that's also going to go straight to his weapons. This is one of those fights that's actually a little bit tougher with respect to being in the first sector. This isn't like your typical let's kill some goblins fight. This is actually quite the nasty fight if we manage to like get a few shots that land nastily. So we've got 1 shot to the engines right now. We've got a shot to our automatic doors. That's not a huge deal unless we get any fires inside, because the doors are going to allow us to vent things out into space. But for now, on a plus side, we've managed to knock out all of his weapons. So that was the only burst we're going to have to take for, well, maybe not. And so, you know that thing that I said might happen? It just happened. So let's get somebody from weapons maybe to go fix the doors. And once we've got the doors down, the doors will be fixed. We can actually vent these fires into space. Hopefully that doesn't travel too far. It's going into an empty compartment, so it shouldn't do any real damage to our hull, I don't think. Let's also consider knocking out his drones with this next burst. We'll see what happens here. Next volley's away, and drones are disabled, it looks like. Yeah, so we should be in a little bit better of a shape. We should get some breather. Well, a breather for just a moment. Let's have a look. There we go. So now we can vent that into space. If you're new to the game, we do have an oxygen level up here in the top left. I'm not going to spend a ton of time explaining the game. I will go through and kind of talk about things. So each of these weapons take that amount of energy. You can see these little bars, these little pips. These are all kind of, they coincide with the amount of energy you have. This over here is the extra energy we have on hand. As you can see, we have none. So taking power out of our medbay to put it into our engines increased our evade, but now we can't heal all of our crew members. I'm going to put him back in the weapons bay. Let's continue firing and ensuring that he stays completely disabled. We took a lot of damage on that fight, but Given the difficulty of this fight early on, the extra drone was a big thing right here. So that drone that was consistently firing rounds at us, knocking out our shields, that's going to be a big problem. Luckily, that's the end of the fight right there, and as I was saying that, I was really hoping those 3 shots would land. Got ourselves 13 scrap, and we've investigated the station. It's a storage site for various resources. We get 2 fuel, 1 drone part, and 8 scrap. All in all, not a bad day. By the end of the first sector, I prefer to have myself somewhere around 90 scrap, and if I don't have 90 scrap, I start sweating like a boar in a sow house, you know what I mean? I start getting very nervous. Now, I am going to take a point out right there. We'll put that back into the med bait, and anybody sustained damage, Bovie did. Let's take Bovie and get him healed. We don't have to worry about the fleet catching us while we're out and about, so... Oh, I disabled that. Turn off the oxygen for just a second. While that might sound a little bit troublesome, it's not bad because all we have to do is heal him for just a second. Now, everything's allocated. Put that back into engines. Let's jump into the next zone. I think I'm going to go around this path right here and try and get to the exit from there. These jumps are looking a little sketchy, but they're no less sketchy than the jumps from any other direction, so I think I'm going to try and go from there to get to the exit. And we'll just kind of see what the RNG gods have in mind for us. That's all you can really do with FTL a lot of the time. And our arrival is greeted by numerous computer alerts. An automated rebel scout has deployed a virus that has disrupted our shields. Hopefully it won't cause further problems. Alright, so as you can see, one of our shields is knocked out right there. In fact, we are pretty much open to being hit. Now, that is a little bit of a troublesome problem as he does have a heavy laser, and that's going to cause a lot of damage. The other weapon is his ion cannon, and that's going to be another issue. That ion cannon, this is actually, we're having a pretty rough string of luck right here. We have the potential to really sustain a lot of damage right now, right early and up front, but it's going to come down to who gets the first shot off. It's kind of a gentleman's duel going on right now. Alright, the first shot has knocked out our O2, but we did manage to eliminate all of his weapons before anything else went wrong, so I'm going to have him repair the oxygen so that we don't suffocate, because suffocation seems like a horrible way. Actually, I think you just kind of drift off when you suffocate. It's not so bad. I wouldn't know, though. I've never suffocated, so not exactly the expert on being suffocated. Down goes that ship, it explodes, and we get 15 scrap, a fuel, and a drone part. Not bad, we're about halfway to our goal. Let me get him back into the artillery sector, and let's jump on in. We've got 2 distress signals here. I'm going to go to the closer one since the fleet is not even on our radar as of yet. You find a number of ships fleeing from a small space station. You hail them asking what's wrong. Help! We're being overrun by some sort of giant alien spiders. We're actually going to leave them alone right there. And my choice was this, so if you have a crew that's built for melee fighting, that event is actually much in your favor. You want to send them over to help. But we've got 3 humans here. Humans have no benefits in melee combat, and we're short-numbered. So if we had had 7 humans, I would be much more willing to send a spider over than if I have 3 humans. I would have been more willing to send somebody over if we had had 2 mantises and 3 humans, because the 2 mantises are going to swing the melee fight in our favor. Fortunately, we have none of those benefits, so we had to leave them to their fate. Not the most heroic of tasks, but survival is job 1. As soon as you arrive at the distress signal, shots are fired towards your ship. It's a tarp. Ooh, and they've got a drone too. Damn, we are just getting really bad luck. A drone and 2 burst lasers. Good God. What kind of terrible luck are we having today? Oh, never mind, that's a hull laser. Okay, it's not so bad, never mind. Ignore my lamenting prose. Let's go ahead and fire our first burst. This is actually much more survivable now that I know what's going on. Artemis missile, away! Ooh, and they missed with all of their bursts, and our first shots actually were remarkably, well, they were not quite as inchoate as I was expecting, so we've managed to knock out their weapons bay, and so from here, this should turn into an auto-attack fever. Now, what is this guy right here? Well, he's a beam weapon. He's a beam drone, more specifically. Oh, they've surrendered, the cowards. They send you a message. Your ship is surprisingly well equipped. Please take this and let us live. Well, since they're being polite and they're also, God, they're giving us compliments. Your ship is surprisingly well equipped. It's the truck nuts that we put on the back. That's what it's got to be. Our ship is well equipped. 2 missiles, 1 drone part, and 8 scrap. If you don't know what truck nuts are, they're a phenomenon from a few years ago. In fact, I don't see them very often anymore, but truck nuts are giant leather nuts, like male genitalia that hang off the back of your car. I don't know why anybody would want one of those on their car. I mean, it's slightly humorous the first time you see it, but then again, I like to keep it classy, so maybe that's just me. We enter an asteroid belt to discover a rebel automated scout. Okay, well, the asteroid belt, what does it do? The asteroid belt knocks out our shields, and they've got a heavy laser and an ion cannon, so once again, we found ourselves in really kind of a... Well, we're not having a good string of luck. We are definitely having the kind of luck that might put one into a dour mood. Were we not already aware that this was kind of a luck-based game, so shields back up? Ooh, okay, so not as bad as it could have been. We have to hope that we land some shots there. Oh good, the asteroid worked with us. Go, my rocky friends! Ha! My history as a geologist has finally benefited me. The asteroids have come to my aid. Go, noble asteroids! Slay my foes and make them flee before me. This is a little known fact, but asteroids hate robots. They're kind of racist with that respect. Can robots be classified as a race? I don't know if they can. Maybe if they're sentient, I suppose we could. I think Britain was the ones that their parliament actually had a meeting about the rights of AI robots. Or maybe it wasn't Britain, maybe it was like Denmark or somewhere, but somewhere. I remember reading this like in Slate or in like IO9, is that the name of the magazine? I don't remember, the e-zine. Anyways, I digress. Some countries already talked about the rights for AI programs. We have 1 fuel, 1 missiles, and 17 scraps from there, so we're actually doing fairly well given how difficult our initial trajectory has been. We're actually still lining up the scrap pretty well, and that is going to leave us in a beneficial position going into later sectors. By the time you notice a ship, it's too late to avoid a fight. Well, damn. He's got a beam laser as well. And actually, yeah, we're going through missiles at a pretty remarkable rate here, but I'm going to have to go with the same strategy of releasing both missiles and lasers at his targeting systems because he's got another burst laser and a heavy laser, and when they get through the shields, this thing is gonna just wreak havoc on us. These guys right here, think of them as, you know the lasers in the Matrix when you had the squids that would fly up to the Nebuchadnezzar and they would like laser giant chunks of the hull in half? That's basically the exact same thing as those. They can't get through your shields, but they laser large chunks of your ship in half if they manage to get through your shields. Very, very unfortunate beings. Well, they're fortunate for them, but unfortunate for me. I guess it depends what side the shoe is on. And there goes the first round. Ooh, and they hit our weapons first off. So what I'm going to do now, we've actually leveled their weapons, so I'm going to have... We don't have to worry about dodging anything because all their weapons are down. I'm going to send him back to help fix the artillery. Unfortunately, that leaves us with only missiles with which to defend ourselves. I'm going to leave the missiles primed. Let's go ahead and turn our burst lasers back on, and I'm going to see how well I can get myself situated. Okay, so their big heavy laser is back on. I'm actually going to have to missile that, unfortunately. And we didn't get a miss. We actually did fairly well at aiming our shots. Our precision is dead on. Burst laser is up, and I'm going to keep pressured fire on his artillery. Now, he's decided to retreat as well, so he offers to give us some of their goods if we don't destroy his ship. I could run up in there just kind of Johnny Rotten style and just kind of kick the hell out of it, but I think I'm going to be a nice fellow today. We're going to accept their offer. We get 8 scrap, 5 missiles. That's actually a ton of missiles. That's like 30 scraps worth of missiles and a drone part. So let's go ahead. We can't actually jump out of the sector until we put Notch back in his place as our pilot. As always, Notch is dictating the flow of my free time. And there we go. And yes, that was a Minecraft joke. I'm sure you guys caught it, but I always feel the need to like point things out on occasion because I get those random emails where people are like, explain the joke to me, I'm so confused. We come out of the jump to see laser blasts coming from the sides of the beacon. It looks like someone is under attack by some pirates. Let's go ahead and help out. We can't have any of that up in here. We can't have people limping around doing weird hand motions. We don't want any Jack Sparrows in our space. Looks like he's gonna have a missile and a burst laser. That's gonna leave us somewhat prone to his first burst, but we'll see what happens here. I think technically I could get an Artemis off. We do have a lot of missiles to dispose of, so I think I'm going to try and get an Artemis off first. Ours should be slightly faster than his. And there it is. All of his weapons are knocked out. However, our shields were taken out in the general attrition that kind of surrounds fights like these. On the plus side, I can, because he's got no weapons, I can pretty much take everybody off of our piloting stations, both engines and our pilot, and put them into repairing our shields since it doesn't really matter at this point. He's got nothing to fire at us. Hopefully we can keep his weapons completely and totally knocked out, and that'll keep us nice, safe, and at least healthy. I mean, we've taken a bit of damage for the first sector, but I think you'll all agree with me if you're familiar with the game that we have had kind of a rough string of luck, actually. This is the first fight. This fight right here is kind of the holotype fight that you should expect to see in the first sector. The last 2 or 3 have actually been fairly difficult. The pirate ship breaks apart, and we contact the civilian ship. 3 fuel, 13 scrap, and a drone part. They respond. It's a good thing you came when you did. We'd be dead by now otherwise. I'm a shipwright and I'd like to help you because you helped me. The captain offers to install a piece of equipment on our ship, an ion blast, and he gives us 8 scrap to go along with it. Now, we've got a couple choices. This game is going to present you with a variety of choices as you go through as to how you want to build your ship. It's given us an option. We have an ion cannon now, and the nice thing about the ion cannon is it can actually kind of render the enemy's shields completely inert, or otherwise non-regenerative. It can render their shields completely out of your face. And I don't like people's shields in my face, whether it's a fantasy game or a sci-fi game. If your shield is in my face, I just want to splatter you all over the place. And so this is going to knock out their shields for an extended amount of time, provided it impacts with their shields. If their shields are down, this ion blast, any sector that it hits is going to go down for about, 6 seconds or so. And so it can act as a nice kind of area denial tool as well, or tactical denial tool. We got to reactivate our shields. Because our shields were destroyed, a lot of new players are going to forget, but if you're a new player, if your shields get knocked out, you do have to reactivate them. That is part of the game, and it does happen from time to time. We've got 100 scraps, so let's jump on into the ship menu and talk about some of these upgrades. Because this is the first episode, I'm going to try and explain things a little bit better than I otherwise would. We've got shields we can upgrade. Engines. The engines are going to improve our chances to dodge. Just baseline this evade number up here. It's going to make that go up. Oxygen is going to change the rate at which our oxygen regenerates, assuming that we are deprived of the good old O2. Over here we've got our artillery engine, or I'm sorry, our artillery power supply. We can actually increase this, which will allow us to equip more weapons. Of course, we have to buy more power bars to make that work from our reactor screen. Our med bay, it increases the speed at which our units will regenerate if we put them in there. Additionally, it gives us better chances at succeeding with medical related events. Down here we've got piloting. I'm never going to put points into piloting. I'll just let you know that now. Never going to happen. We've got sensors. Piloting, what it does is it means that your evasion doesn't get negated when you don't have a pilot. Basically, it gives you autopilot. Over here we've got our sensors. It's going to allow you to see your own ship. Upon upgrading it, you can see the enemy's power use and their interior. And here we've got the doors. Normal doors we can just open, kind of automatic style. The middle rank blast doors allows us to actually have doors that will resist invaders because people can board us. It'll also stop fires from moving around. It'll slow them down a tad. And the final one is improved blast doors, which are quite good at their jobs. For now, at the end of the first sector, I always prefer to have a bit more shields, so I'm going to put 2 points into shields, 2 extra energy right there, and bim bam bomb. Our shield has become more bluey. It has grown in azure stature. From here, okay, we can make the jump to there, which is a nice thing to know. I think, yeah, I'm just going to jump across. I'm not going to go for that node that was over on the right. Let's see here. You are immediately contacted by a settlement. Hello, travelers. Your ship seems to be outfitted for combat. Care to take up a bit of mercenary work? Yeah, let's hear it. A space dock is under attack by the rebels. Although the dock is technically illegal within their laws, it's very important for our trade. We'll pay you in fuel and scrap if you promise to save them. Yeah, let's do it. So they've added a quest marker, and I was hoping it would be right there. Typically, it doesn't put the quest markers back behind you or anywhere that you've explored already. So let's jump on over here and help. This is an excellent opportunity to rope ourselves an extra little grip of scrap. Let's do it. So we're fighting against a rebel who has a missile and a burst laser 1. I think we're in really good shape, provided we can get rid of that missile launcher. So let's go ahead and do that. Our first burst, as always, we've got plenty of missiles right now. First burst is going to go straight for their artillery sector. Now, some of you might be saying, Splattercat, you're using like a ton of missiles. Well, that's because I always find missiles to be a bit more paramount in their usage early on in the game. Later on, we're probably going to sell most of our missile-bearing weapons if my strategy goes according to plan. And so I like to use them all up early because the first sectors tend to be the most difficult for me. Like sectors 1 through 3, if I can make it through those, I tend to have a pretty good shot at winning. I'm going to take down the Artemis and actually put the Ion Blast up so we have 2 weapons alternating. And then the Ion, I think, is going to charge pretty quickly. So let's go ahead and knock out their shields with it. Oh, we missed. Well then, gotta have to talk with my gunner here. His skills are going up. As you can see on the left-hand side here, everybody does have their own individual skills. They come in green bar and yellow bar. Yellow bar means they're like crazy good at what they do. Ooh, we're still missing with that ion cannon, unfortunately. Every shot you fire is going to increase your proficiency. Likewise, every time you dodge, it's going to increase your engine efficiency. It's going to make you pilot better. Anyways, the outpost hails you. Thank you. I don't know what we did to anger the rebels, but they were sure ready to kill us. I'll show you our goods and patch up your hull. Very cool. So as you can see, our hull got a little bit of healing. Probably like 10 scraps worth. Not bad at all. And then We've been taken into the shopping interface. Now, we can't really afford anything right now. We've only got 30 scrap because I don't feel like buying things is really something you should be focusing on in the earlier sectors. I think that's kind of a late sector thing. Let's see here. We've got drone control, which is allow us to deploy those drones that we saw earlier on. We've got crew teleporter, which is actually one of my favorites. Crew teleporter is quite good. You can actually teleport your crew to the other ship and sabotage them in laser battles, which are the best kinds of battles in my opinion. But anyways, I think I'm just gonna kind of satisfy myself by buying a couple fuel, and we'll be on our way. We've arrived at the long-range beacon. The FTL drive is ready to go. You can jump to the next sector. Scanners are showing intelligent life forms on a nearby planet. No match for them can be found in the database. Let's investigate. You land a small shuttle in an enormous field, whose only occupants are small, brightly colored, six-legged, horse-like animals. So insources? Or insects? Could they be what your scans picked up? Let's communicate. None of your attempts to communicate seem to work. They just stare at you silently. As you prepare to leave, though, one of the creatures enters forward and forcefully nudges you away from the ship. He seems to want you to follow him. Eventually, the creatures guide you to an old Engi ship's crash site. Inside, you're able to find and reactivate an Engi. Plus, we get some missiles, some drone parts, and some scrap. Not a bad day's work considering he's worth about 45 scrap. I'm going to put him in here to handle our shields. He's going to make our shields recharge a little bit quicker, and so he's nice to have. Let's jump to the next sector. Actually, do we have time? I think we might. It's going to be a close one. Let's tempt fate. Yeah, let's do one more location. My ability to eyeball how far that they're invading has not been so good as of lately, but we got the outpost here, so we should probably help. Looks like we've got 2 beam weapons and a burst laser, so that means he's only actually going to be able to tag us if he gets really, really lucky. The Engi, I didn't talk about their racial bonuses, but the Engi are actually really, really good at repairing stuff, but they're terrible at combat. I might have fired that too early. It's okay, it'll lock down their shields long enough. And down goes their weapon system, so we have already won this fight. I don't have auto fire on right now because I'd like to coordinate these 2 blasts. Having multiple firing weapons does help your artillery gunner to level up a little bit quicker too, which is why I prefer to have 2 laser weapons if I can have them. And yes, I do realize that I don't need to click those, I can use the number keys, but for whatever reason I always still click them. See, I'm using the number keys now. Feel better, all of you optimal gamers. Feel better. If you're twiddling your thumbs right now like Splattercat, that is suboptimal and it makes me want to tear your teeth out with my fingers. Well, I'm sorry. I'm doing the best I can here with limited intellectual resources, so bear with me. Let's fire what I hope will be the... Ooh, I actually messed up there. I mistimed that. That's my fault. Probably should have timed that a little bit better. I forgot to take into account the fact that the ion blast moves a little bit slower through space. There we go. That timing was a little bit better, and down he goes. We got 15 scrap, a missile, and a drone part, and the outpost hails us. Those pompous bastards expected free service just because they defeated the Federation. You can take this for your help. 4 fuel, actually, and 14 scrap, so we're in really good shape right now. We've actually gotten almost 200 scrap from the first zone and a freebie weapon. As far as FTL goes, that's a very fortunate start, and I actually called that one, I think. I don't think we're actually going to have to fight the rebels right now. Dodged a bullet, however narrowly. It took our nose hairs off, though. Let's get on out of here, and we have 2 choices, an Uncharted Nebula or an Engi-controlled sector. The Uncharted Nebula is going to kind of suck, so I'm going to go with the Engi-controlled sector, because that's going to give us more of the same fights that we've already been seeing. You have arrived in Engi space, the fall of the Federation? Whatever. Let's keep rolling. We've got some stores here. Let's hit this node first and see if we get an event that'll give us a bit more... Ooh, bad luck here. So our beacon, we've actually landed next to a star, unfortunately. What the star is going to do is it's going to systematically light fires inside of our... Ooh, he's got like a burst laser 3, it looks like. We could actually be in a little bit of trouble if he knows how to aim it. Aiming is going to be the big problem here. If he knows how to aim that laser, we are going to be definitely in rough shape. And as soon as that lands, boom, boom, boom. Bim, bam, bomb, he is down and he is taken out. So this fight is pretty much in our favor already. Another thing to be aware of, let's vent that into space so that that fire doesn't become a predominant issue. Another thing you have to be aware of is his ship is now on fire too. It's not just us. So before, I see a lot of people scream, unfair, I hate this game about this event. It's hitting him too. The only time that it kind of sucks is if you're fighting a scout drone, because they don't have fire on their, or they don't have air on their ship, and so the fires go out instantly whenever they're deployed. I'm actually going to bring my artillery gunner over here to help out with this fire, because I have little faith in the Engi to handle it. Let's go ahead, and there goes the second round, and they've decided to surrender, so we get the frantic message, and 4 fuel, 1 drone part, and 13 scrap. I'm noticing that we're running a little bit long, actually, so I'm going to try and speed up the way that I play through the game. Unfortunately, I still have to wait for our FTL drive to be up so that we can jump out of the sector. I'm really hoping we don't actually eat another nasty bout of flame. One of the things you can do as a precautionary not a precautionary member, but a precautionary measure is you can open up these windows on the sides early, so that if fires by any chance end up in there, they instantly go out. I forgot to do it. I actually think we should probably check the store now that we've got a bit more scrap to play with. I don't think we're going to have enough to buy anything amazing, but we might luck out. Stealth weapons, a repair arm. There are augmentations. These are basically passive buffs that remain for the rest of the game. Drone control, crew teleporter. We're still a little bit low on scrap for those, unfortunately. It's okay, though, because we should, in all honesty, be putting most of our points into upgrades at this point in the game. At least I prefer to. Let's jump on out and keep moving. Looks like we've got a storage vessel for military goods. He's got no shields. Oh, but he's got stealth. Cheeky bastard. Alright, so stealth means we can't ready our weapons until he comes out and fires at us, unfortunately. And it's going to be 2 ion cannons, which were both stopped by our shields. Oh, he's got a hull laser, too. Jerk face. I'm going to fire our ion cannon at his cloak first, and we're going to see if that lands. It did. So his cloak is now disabled. And I think what I should like to do is knock out his weapons. And down go his weapons. I think that's going to remain disabled for just a little bit, although he may get it back up before I can actually disable it again. We'll fire another round. Okay, so it remains down. Let's continue our bombardery. And this should be pretty much wrapped up fairly shortly. I should probably put that on auto fire to be on. Oh, he cloaked it. So you can cloak shots like that and completely and totally negate them if you time your cloak properly. It's a pretty cool ability that comes along with the cloaking mechanism, although I don't really get to use it very often. It's kind of an expensive augmentation that I rarely put on my ship. We salvage what we can and get 16 scrap. We check out the space station, but it's abandoned and stripped clean. Little round of bad luck there, but not so bad. We could have lost like a crew member or something, so it could be much, much worse. We arrived just in time to see a Engi ship destroying a pirate craft. A teleporter signal. Oh, there's an intruder on deck. A young mantis in a charred uniform has showed up, and he wants us to help him fight the Engi. We're going to do that because I like the mantis. The mantis are amazing melee combatants. Like, they are the grand high poobah, like the ultra mega boobies of kind of melee melee combat, so you kind of want to have them around. I don't know if this ship can shoot down ion blasts, so maybe let's try it out. Let's see what happens here. Okay, so on occasion, what this drone is right here, just so you're aware, it's a defense drone. It shoots down like heavy lasers, and it also shoots down... oh, I don't want to do that. Their shields are about to come back up. It also shoots down missiles, so this thing could be kind of problematic depending on what your strategy is. Fire that ion, knock that down, and then make sure that his weapons stay completely and totally in the red for the remainder of this playthrough. I really don't want to have to deal with them. The easiest way to avoid getting shot is to make sure your opponent doesn't have a gun. And down go the weapons one more time. I timed that one wrong. That's my fault. I get a little bit ahead of myself. I always shoot a little bit early. I don't know if it's like a... there's a joke there somewhere. There's a joke there somewhere. I'll just address it and move on. I'll let you formulate your own joke, whichever you think is funniest. The ship blows up. It blows the hell up, leaving behind all of its goodies. We take its missiles, fuel, and scrap. So we're at 113 right now. I think it's probably about time that we allocate our resources a bit more. And now that I actually have the mantis, I could technically conceive of starting with my boarding parties, but I think I'm going to sit on it for a little while. For now, let's go ahead and raise our shields up, I think. So we've got a bit more pointage for our shields. And while unfortunately we're not going to be able to power that at this direct moment, as you can see we need 2 more power to make that work, I think we should be able to secure the resources between here and the next couple sectors. Hey, there it is right there. So they've offered us supplies in exchange for a quest. There's an Engi around here somewhere. That or they just gave us freebie stuff. I don't really know. Let's go ahead and I'm going to kind of zigzag back and forth like so, like a pointy spring. You arrive at a Zoltan research facility. They say they're researching genetic distortion due to a stasis sleep. Now, there's two outcomes to this thing. Either we can get boarded and attacked, or we can get free scrap. I'm going to try for the free scrap since we have a mantis. Your crew lines up and they take their readings and we get 12 scrap. All right, so it went in the direction of our favor. Let's add those 2 to power. And shields 3 are now ours. There are not going to be a whole lot of things that are going to be threatening unless they're completely and totally like missile ships at this point. And typically, luckily, like ships with like 4 missile launchers don't show up very often. They do from time to time, but still. And as I say that, 2 missile launchers on this ship, a very, very nasty combat to find ourselves in. Hopefully, ooh, this is one of those times where I feel like I should have put more points into engines. And we have intruders, that's great. They're probably going to focus on our engines, would be my guess. Yeah, because they want my dodge to go down. As you can see, that knocked my dodge down by 5%. Just the fact that there's like a melee combat going on in here. I'm hoping neither of these hit our artillery, and it looks like they have not. However, they have done substantial damage to us. So let's go ahead and we're going to put the burst laser front and center on their weapons. Down they go, and so that should buy us a little bit of time. From here on out, let's make sure that this combat over here, you can hear that EKG sound. That means we are taking a little bit of damage here. But I think we should be able to win that fight. All things considered. Pause is your friend. Okay, so they both teleported off board, so we don't need to worry about them anymore. I'm actually going to try and knock out the shields one more time. Let's keep those weapons nice and taken out. Now that we have the weapons taken out, they have nothing that can breach our shields, so I'm actually going to reallocate everything to our med bay. Try and get ourselves healed while we sit here for a moment. Although, unfortunately, it appears as though they've got like their full crew kind of sitting there repairing their weapons, which is what I'd be doing too, so I don't really blame them, but the bonus to that is every time I hit this area right here, it deals a ton of damage to like their individual characters, so we're at least getting a little bit more damage done than we would otherwise, plus they have no medical base, so that should help out too. Yeah, they're repairing that super quick style. They've already got their laser cannon back up. Let's go ahead and depower that and put shields 3 up so that we can't conceivably take any damage from what they're doing, get everybody back into their positions. And once we're ready, we'll fire another round with the ion cannon, and that should be it. And there we go, we've won another combat. Now we're gonna have to handle some of the attrition we took right here though. We get 24 scrap, not terrible. This right here is a hull breach, and if you're not familiar, it sucks. It means it's gonna drain all the air out of that area. I'm gonna put everybody in here to heal it because as you can see, when there's no air in a sector of your ship, everybody loses health very, very quickly. But the second you get that sealed off, what you can do is open up these bay doors, oxygen will flood it, and there you go. It helps it fill up a little bit quicker because your air conditioning can't quite deal with the strain as rapidly as you would like sometimes. As soon as they're all patched up and ready to go, we'll get ourselves the hell on out of here. Looks like Matthew took a little bit of damage too. Looks like everybody's actually got a tiny bit of damage done. I was hoping Ested would have a bit more melee skill from that combat, but unfortunately it looks like he really didn't get anything. A little bit of a bummer there because I am planning on using him as a boarding resource. Let's go check this distress signal out. You find a number of ships fleeing from a space station. They're being overrun. Now this is one of those times where you just don't know what the right decision is. We do have a larger crew. We do have a Mantis who is not doing anything. So I think this time I'm going to try. And not everybody made it back, of course. So who did we lose? We lost our pilot, really. That is really, really bad. So I'm going to shift the Engi over. That's kind of rage-worthy, but I'm going to resist the urge to like throw cups and freak out and tear my hair out just because it's the nature of the game. If you can't handle RNG, this is not the game for you. That is the warning that I would give you. Like, that right there was a flip of a coin whether you would lose a character or get a bunch of scrap. I felt like since we had melee characters, we would do a little bit better, but unfortunately, the gods of the RNG did not feel similar. I see a lot of people get really angry about that event. An Engi ship in the vicinity, seeing you jump in armed to the teeth, surrenders. Sure, we'll take it. And they obediently transfer over their goods and get on their way. Money for nothing. 2 missiles, 1 fuel, and 25 scrap. We just robbed fools. We were just like space bandits right there. Which is interesting because earlier on in the playthrough, we actually like stood up to bandits and beat them up. So it's kind of one of those humorous things. We can trade fuel for drone parts. I am not going to do that. That's not a good decision for us right now. If it was drone parts or anything else, I probably would have gone for it. Because, ooh, a terrible choice in sectors. But anyways, as I was saying, I probably would have chosen it if we could drop the drone parts for scrap, but because we don't have, like, any of the drone parts that we need. This is a rough choice. I'm going to go with the Uncharted Nebula, I think. The Mantis are really good at boarding, and unfortunately, we just don't have the density of crew that I would like, or at least the quantitative nature of a crew that I would like in order to hold off the Mantis, so... Now, there are a number of terrible things that can happen when you're caught up in one of these nebulas. Namely, your sensors will be out a lot of the time. And we don't have long-range scanning, so that leaves us at a bit of a disadvantage. A lot of bad things could happen during the course of this. Shield disruption being the one that I fear the most, since that is like our principal strategy. A weapons trader spins a tale of the dangers of the Nebula before pushing you his wares. We're actually going to rob him. Let's do it! Because I looked at his weapons, and I don't think he can actually get through our shields. I think he's actually fairly hosed when it comes to actually fighting with us, so... I could be completely wrong. This could backfire on me. That looks like the one that goes through shields, but our shields are pretty thick right now. Let's go ahead and fire the first round. I don't really see the point in knocking out his weapons, actually. That was kind of a poor choice of targeting on my end. I may actually, what I may do is focus on maybe shields. Yeah, let's knock out his shields, and then from there I'll be a little bit happier. Okay, so his shields are looking a little bit shabbier now. I don't know how many people he has on board trying to repair things. They said it was an Engi ship, I think, so they should repair pretty quickly. Okay, and they've surrendered. They offer us 3 fuel, 1 drone part, and 30 scrap. No, we're not going to accept the surrender. That actually is really low for Sector 3, so not going to accept it. We're actually going to punish these guys and kill them. If there was a weapon attached onto that, they're arms dealers, guys. If there was a weapon attached there, I probably would have gone for it, but no weapon, no mercy. Which is kind of like the opposite of how you would think that saying would go. Like, doing somebody when they're unarmed just kind of seems like a horrible thing to do. So I guess that saying doesn't hold true with like all natures of the metaphor, but we did end up with double the scrap on that. We got a little less fuel, but we didn't really need it. We didn't really need the missiles either. What we needed was hard scrap. So there is scrap, hard, and fast, just the way we like it here in the Nerd Castle. I'm going to go down to here, and I think I'm just going to kind of zigzag all the way up to the exit, because even though we're in a nebula, we really want to continue accruing as much scrap as we can. And nothing here. Clouds and silence. And Clouds and Silence one more time. Clouds and Silence sounds like the kind of song that would be made by like an emo band. It's our hit single, Clouds and Silence. Let's see here. We can trade 9... Oh no, we can get 9 fuel for 2 drone... Hell yeah! I'll take that. So we traded 2 of our drone parts for 9 fuel, and that's actually a really, really good trade. I'm pretty happy with that one. Sometimes I feel like I get a little bit screwed in some of these trades, but that one, definitely not a Scrooge McDuck type trade. It's a trade that heavily favored us. Navigating the fog blind. Oh, a Mantis ship. Lovely. Okay, so they're offering us actually the opportunity to walk away, and we're going to take it. My reasoning is, Mantises like to board you with like 8 guys at the same time and kick the living hell out of you. You want to avoid that from happening. Now, I am sort of scared that if I go back through that way, they're going to attack me. An abandoned space station gives us a anti-ship beam drone and 14 scrap. So we actually have a drone to play with now. It's going to be in our cargo bay. You can see it right there. Hello, Beamy. We can name him Woogie, like our old friend from Shadowrun. And I bet I can jump that right there. Let's go ahead and stay out of the nebula for a minute and see what kind of beneficial things we can find. We can aid a ship that's being attacked by pirates. We're going to do that. He has energy weapons, so I think we're square here. We are completely okay. I don't actually think he's going to be able to breach us unless he gets like a really good volley off. He's got terrible shields too, so he's armed to the teeth, but he's not necessarily as terrifying as one might expect. Oh, I shot his shields on accident. That was a dumb thing for me to do. Luckily, we survived the first volley based on his terrible aiming skills, so my transgression won't be punished that badly. And at this point, since he has no shields, we can actually kind of just blast him with impunity. He doesn't really have a whole lot of options on his plate. I'm hoping they don't surrender. Now, the surrenders are kind of... your call as a player. Sometimes the surrenders do give you better benefits than the non-surrenders, but I've had times where destroying the ship has given me almost 3 times as much loot, so sort of depends. The pirate ship breaks apart, gives you 32 scraps and missiles. We saved a ship, and they offer to join our crew. Welcome aboard. And it looks like it's another Engi. I'm actually going to place him in my artillery, with the reason being if our artillery gets hit, he's going to help repair it a little bit quicker. We have a nice amount of scrap right now. It's leading me to think that maybe, I'm hoping we run across a shop pretty quickly, because I don't like to walk around with this much scrap on hand. It tends to be a pretty terrible idea as far as gameplay ideas go. A damaged ship is hiding in the Nebula. Yeah, we can escort him. And so we stumble across the ship they were hiding from. It's a little weak. They've got missiles and a burst laser, so we're going to be largely okay. This fight is going to be a little bit hairier than what we're used to, but it should probably be alright, depending on where that first missile lands. Ooh, okay, so I was wrong. That first missile landed exactly where we didn't want it to. So our first round is going to go to their shields, hoping we deal any type of damage whatsoever. Ion Blast needs to be back online, like right now. The second round of missiles was ineffectual, it was impotent. And with that shot, I'm going to try and get rid of his weapons. We don't have a fire right there, do we? Okay, good. No fire. And all of his weapons are now disabled. I'm going to use the Ion Blast to make sure that his shields remain... Oh, and he reactivated it just in time. Dick move, enemy. Dick move. How dare you repair your ship while I try and kill you? You should just roll over and die. You should be like my dog and just play dead and give me all of your stuff. I don't even have a dog. Don't even know where that analogy came from. I had a dog. But then I went to college and had to give it to my parents. So now he lives in a much happier place, which is not the pound, it's my parents' house. I'm actually going to disable his weapons for a minute, just because I don't like looking down the barrel of a missile launcher, do you? We do not accept surrender. Let's see if we get something better this time. I'm doing some empirical testing. Yeah, the loot was definitely better. No mercy. We're going to go straight Spartan on him. Going to Leonidas the hell out of him. Let's continue jumping, or oh, never mind. We should probably repair our ship before we do any of this. Let's go ahead and... The Mantis repairs a little bit slower because he has no opposable thumbs, and I can only assume he's got, like, weird, like, Mantis wrenches. I don't know what a Mantis wrench would actually look like, but I can only assume that it would be a little bit more difficult to use than a normal wrench. Then again, that's kind of subjective, I suppose. The Mantis could say that it's easier for him to use. Ah, there's what I was worried about. A rock armored transport calls us repugnant and then tells us to leave. I'm actually going to do that because our main strength is our shields, and they are knocked out right now. Actually, our reactor is knocked out. We have nothing with which to fight them. Look at our weapons. Completely depowered. Shields partially depowered. We are boned if we decided to go into that fight. So, we're going to tell them to bite our shiny metal asses and jump to the next sector. And we've got a rebel ship that's looking for us. Let's go ahead and fight him. He's got a burst, I think it's a burst 3, and a missile launcher. Oh, the weapons aren't activated. Neither are the shields or the engines. Weak. Alright, well that might mess up our timing a tad. First missile goes straight to weapons, unfortunately. They should be able to repair that up pretty quickly, though. He's only got 1 shield. Let's make sure that we're firing on something. Okay, so we've got a hull breach right there. And we're going to wait to fire this next ion blast until the burst is ready to go. And there it is, magic, my friends. Well, not magic, science. The science of future weapons has seen us through. Fire that ion a little bit early. And it looks like he is turning into yet another victim. We've actually had luck play into our hands reasonably well, given our rocky start. Our start was definitely looking quite geology-y. But now, things are a little bit better. I mean, we are taking some damage, but we have a lot of surplus scrap, so we should be able to heal that up no problem when we get to the next store. Why did I just hear a missile? I think that was the music. No surrender! And there we are, even more scrap for our use. Let's go ahead and... God, we have so much scrap on hand right now, and I was really, really hoping we would find our way to another ship. I'm going to upgrade blast doors. Also, I'm going to give us a bit more evade, I think. So now, as you can see, our evade is up to 32%. Not too shabby, if I do say so myself. I think I'm going to turn off the air for just a second and try and heal up the crew members that have been damaged. Turn the air back on, turn off the med bay, and we actually got to go in here and we got to patch a hole. Yeah, there it is. So we've got a rather large hole in our ship, which we really, really don't want. We like our ships like our persons, with a distinct lack of holes. Or at least extra holes. There are certain holes that I think we're all required to have, just as biological organisms, but I always have to make addendums to these branching statements that I make. These wide-ranging statements. Always gotta make little addendums, and that might be just because I'm kind of OCD about the things I say. Then again, other people would argue that I'm completely and totally not OCD about the things I say and that I'm just kind of an asshole. Whatever. Space and clouds. Let's go ahead and get to the exit. We're gonna jump to the next sector. What are our choices? Engi. That's not so bad. It could be a lot worse. Now, coming along, I think we're in Sector 4 now. Sector 4 is where things are going to start to get a little bit more difficult. We're going to start seeing a bit more attrition. We're going to start seeing a lot more conflict. The enemies are going to start having a lot more shields. And at this point, the big problem is that we don't have anything to punch through those shields, which means we may start relying on our missiles a little bit heavier. We're going to reject the offer there. These pirates tried to get us. Oh, and they're teleporting aboard on us. There they are. And I'm actually going to vent them out into space. So they should be taking a ton of damage right now. I'm also going to get my Mantis ready to kick their asses. They've got 2 missile launchers, which is bad. Very, very bad. However, we should be able to survive that boarding perfectly fine. Once that boarding is all said and done... God, this first volley is going to hurt like hell. If we survive their first shot, I think we should largely be okay. Yeah. And as I was saying, I don't think we survived that first volley. They're depleted of oxygen right now, so they should just suffocate all on their own. I'm going to send people in here to repair the weapons. We're going to have to break out the missiles on this one and see if maybe we can do a little bit of damage to their weapons over and over again. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to set up everything to kind of just fire non-stop. And down goes half their crew. So at the bare minimum, what we know now is that they won't be healing. First missile's a hit. Shields are looking a little worse the wear. Let's send both of them back over to the shield department. And the remainder of their weapons should be victimized fairly shortly. We don't have to worry about any more boarders, luckily. I think we are going to find ourselves kind of in desperate need. Oh, O2 is low? Why is my O2 powered off? Power the O2 back on. God. Some of these mistakes I make sometimes, I don't even know how long that's been out. Apparently, I just forgot to activate it, and those are the kinds of little mistakes that, honestly, I would prefer not to see on a playthrough. Hopefully this Artemis hits. If it doesn't, we're going to be hurting. Okay, good. So their weapons remain nice and knocked out. I'm going to continue to kind of fire rounds at random locations throughout the ship. And their attempt now is going to be to jump into space, and they've dealt so much damage that I really can't allow them to do that. It's just simply, like, not an option. Let's see if maybe... I'm going to knock out the weapons. I'm taking a risk right here that they're going to jump out before I can destroy the engines. Hey, burst laser, what are you doing? And they've decided to surrender. We're going to take it. This is one of those odd times where I will take a surrender simply because we're kind of battered and bloodied right now. We need to find our way to an engineering bay and get ourselves repaired as quickly as possible. This also presents a unique issue in that we have no med bay, but we have to repair the med bay, which is now deprived of, like, oxygen and everything else. Hopefully, we should be alright there. Okay, good. So we managed to flood it. That's okay. Power down the Artemis. And we got to take a brief moment out and make sure that everybody gets healed. There it is. That little group is healed. Start distributing people back to where they go. Jorlak has made it almost up to gold level targeting. He's at gold level dodging. Matthew's doing a pretty good job at handling his business as a pilot, so we're going to leave him where he's at. Our shields... Wait, who's doing our shields? Astad is. Okay, and so we had him helping out, making sure that this remains repaired. Got a distress beacon. I think I'm gonna go down this way, and I'm sorry, I'm sick right now, so I just got a frog in my throat. If I end up clearing my throat, I apologize. Should we investigate? Hell yeah, let's do it. Basically, there's a derelict ship, and we decided to investigate. We got 46 scrap. That is a huge, huge boon that will make our lives better as the game goes on. And we have an intruder on deck. We've got another Mantis who wants us to fight once again with the enemy. We can offer the Mantis for a bounty. I think our crew is looking pretty stacked right now, but if we get another Mantis, we'll be set up for boarding. So I'm going to side with him. We're just going to kind of like take our chances. Oh my god. Alright then. These guys are pretty strapped, actually. These guys are having a field day with the old weaponry, but offensively, I think we'll probably be okay, maybe? I could be vastly underestimating their ability to deal damage here, but it looks like they've only got burst ones. They've got a burst one, and I think that's a heavy one. I think we should be okay, I guess, is my ultimate assessment here. Especially if they miss like that. Thank you for missing. If we can knock off some of these weapons. That gun I'm kind of terrified of. I forget what it's called, but it can actually cut through shields in certain circumstances, which is very, very... Oh, good. He just leveled up to gold piloting. Nice. Alright, so as always, we're just going to kind of maintain our strategy here. I forgot that I still have auto-fire on. I don't want auto-fire on, like, at all. This is a situation where we really, really want to plan our shots. Now, we are up against Engis, so they are going to have a natural ability to just repair things ridiculously quickly. And that's just something we have to deal with, unfortunately, when you go up against Engis. However, their lack of shields and their relative lack of ability to get through our shields is going to make this kind of a one-sided exchange. I always thought it would be funny, like, if you had an ion cannon. It's just like a normal cannon, but it has, like, an eye drawn on it. So there's an eye on your cannon, yeah. But up... I'm so funny. I swear to God, Gunner, if you continue missing, I may have to have the Mantis come in there and kick you square in whatever genitalia you might have. Your genital sacs. They should be kicked repeatedly and without mercy if you continue to miss these shots. And yes, I do realize that I could make my life easier by knocking out their cockpit. I do know that. I would just prefer that if they can level all their fire at the same time by some chance, it will inevitably hurt us very, very badly. And so I'd much prefer that their weapons stay out of our general vicinity, or at least out of the realm of functionality. Now this fight should be over really, really shortly. And we've got ourselves a shiny new Mantis. Well, I don't know if he's shiny. He could be camouflaged, which is kind of anathema to shiny. Down they go, 38 scrap, 2 missiles. We have a lot of missiles to be used. Ah, store, that's exactly what we need. Our ship looks kind of suspicious right here. Our ship has a very kind of, well, phallic look to it in this overscreen, and it kind of makes me wonder if the devs are trolling. Just at least a little bit. Then again, maybe I'm just being puerile. Okay, so we have a crew teleporter. Definitely want that. Since we do have the crew now to actually do boarding, we want to buy a full repair, and we also want to buy all their fuel, because actually our fuel is looking a little bit suspect. Now, we have 2 Mantises, and the joy here is that we can actually send our Mantises over to other people's ships, which will totally and completely ruin their day. We need another little bit of energy in order for our teleporter to work. But I think we should be alright here. This should work out in our favor pretty handily. Boarding is one of the amazing strategies. If we can manage to kill off the enemy's crew... Nothing here. Space and silence. If we can manage to kill off the enemy crew, the benefits are like tripled. So we really, really, really want to do that. I think I'm actually going to come at this guy super hard. Let's go ahead and get people into position to deal with the fact that he has a lot of missiles. Oh, he has 1 missile. Let's hope it doesn't hit our... Oh, it hit our oxygen. We don't need to breathe. Breathing is for the weak. Let's go ahead and fire our first round here. And then we want to make sure that we're... Oh, no. Okay, so that was kind of terrible, targeting gunner. I don't know what your overall strategy was right there. We've got a little bit of a fire, so we want to vent that quickly. Should get rid of it pretty fast, though. All it's going to take him at this point is a nice hit to our artillery, and then we're going to be sitting a dukes. And I want to be flapping and flying if I can. I feel like the shotgun has a better chance to miss if we're flapping and flying. There will be no duck hunt action happening in this game. There will be no St. Bernards bouncing up at the bottom of our screen being like, whoop, 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 whoop. That dog drove me crazy when I was a kid. I don't know why, but for some reason, I just hated that dog as a kid. Like, just something about him. I think it was the fact that he taunted me, and I don't very much like to be taunted. I think that's what it was. Let's put another ion blast straight across their brow, and we're gonna miss there, unfortunately. But the next shot was pretty accurate, so I can't get too angry. He made up for it. Ooh, very nice. He's completely and totally done. I don't know why I fired that shot. I'd like to think I fired it because I hate myself. Decided to waste an ion blast just to make my life more difficult. I should probably close the window. I'm being a bad tenant right now. At the bare minimum, a bad roommate. Nobody likes that roommate who leaves the window open when the heater's on. 25 scrap, investigating the station. It is stripped clean and there's nothing there. That's very unfortunate because we could have used the extra little bits to upgrade our teleporter. Let's go ahead and continue on our way towards the exit. I think I've got a path that I'd like to travel. Nothing going on here. We can download their data stores or we can strip this ship. I'm gonna strip it. Strip it like a knight in Van Nuys. So now we're back at the store, and it might be worth thinking about to maybe... He's got more fuel, and I can't hate on that. Do a little bit of a spot repair. I'm disappointed I haven't had a chance to board anybody yet. They're offering us a bribe to walk away. I'm actually going to take the bribe. We've been kind of ignoble on this trip, but I can't really help it. I'm going to go through the civilian sector, I think. Since that'll give me the option to go through the Nebula next. Can we get out of this Nebula on our first move? Oh, we can. I guess we'll move over here, and we'll really, really hope that we don't have an electrical storm. Intruders on the ship. Oh, God, a ton of intruders on the ship. Let's go ahead and actually... The way that I would prefer to do this is to see if maybe we can flood, like, and force them... I don't care if they knock out my shields. I'm being completely and totally honest there. What I am interested in doing is draining all the oxygen and seeing if maybe we can kill them off. Yeah, see, they took a little bit of damage. And this guy might actually suffocate before he... Let's go ahead and seal off all these now so that we don't suffocate before we finish this fight off. The mantises, you can see they're making very quick work of their attackers. Down they go. Let's go ahead and power up the medbay. And actually maybe kill him with the lack of oxygen? No? He busted the door open. God, enemies in video games are always breaking my doors open. That's a very unneighborly thing to do. It's the sort of thing that I don't think Mr. Rogers would condone. Doors are now repaired. Let's get everybody back into position. And that right there is why it's nice to have a reasonable party of people that know how to engage in the old fisticuffs. I don't know if you've ever seen a mantis fight, but they totally do that, like, fist up in the air, like Notre Dame type deal. Let's see. Let's power that down, put the rest into our shields before we jump into a new zone. We've got a distress call and a beacon. Let's go to the distress call. Those tend to have better rewards anyways. We find people stuck in an asteroid belt, and we have two options. We can try and free them, we can teleport them on board, or we can just leave them to their fate. I'm going to teleport them on board, and they say that they're obligated to help us with our mission, so we've got another guy now. We're actually in really strong shape with regards to all activities that require a ton of crew. Let's go ahead and continue jumping along. This is actually kind of a weird universe. I think we'll have time to go up this way. I think I see the optimal path to get through, but he looks like he's got 2 missile cannons. He's automated, which means I can't board him, so I'm going to avoid provoking him for now. part of the game is making decisions like that where if you're not sure, at least for me, I'm a turtle, so I prefer to walk away from something that I'm not completely sure on. We're actually low on fuel, and we got a fuel event here where we can trade scrap for fuel. I'm gonna get 6 fuel for 12 scrap, because that's a pretty good price anyways, and it's only gonna go up as we work our way across the galaxy. Hope for no electrical storm. Oh god, we got one. We're gonna search the wreckage for equipment. There was a wrecked ship. We got 21 scrap, 1 drone part, and 1 missile. Now we remain disrupted, and with that in mind, I think I'm gonna jump the hell on out of here. And remember, we do need to reactivate everything we have. It looks like there's a mercenary for hire. What kind of weapons is he packing? Just a heavy laser. It looks like a heavy laser 2 maybe, and a hull cannon. He's probably gonna try and board me maybe. Oh, he's got drones, okay. So we're gonna fight him, but we need to reactivate all of our systems too because they are not looking activated. So we need to get proactive and make that happen. This is gonna be our first boarding mission, just so you guys can see how boarding goes. I'm gonna jump on board and go after those weapons, I think. I think realistically, I should be able to knock out at least a couple of these individuals. Oh, they boarded me at the same time. Dicks. I'm gonna send the Mantis in there to deal with him along with the extra crew member. Oh, he's trying to get in at our pilot too. Let's fire our first round. And realistically, how we want this to go down, we really wanted to knock out that med band. Unfortunately, we were not successful at it. Let's maybe switch from the Ion over to the Artemis. And we're gonna set up auto fire here. We actually probably just reasonably killed a good chunk of their crew right there. But in the interest of self-preservation, I'm gonna jump back. I can't deactivate that right now. We have nobody... Oh, we do have somebody piloting. Okay. Let me send a Mantis over to help him out then. And then I need to deactivate something. Suppose I'll lower engines just so they can heal a little bit quicker. I should probably retarget this stuff too. Let's go ahead and start firing for their weapons while we wait. Okay, so we survived the boarding. Unfortunately, they may have another boarding pod, which is another big issue. These guys are looking a little bit better. Yeah, there it is right there. They got another boarding pod. So unfortunately, I'd prefer to draw this fight back into a location that I can kind of resist the effects of their weapons. Oh, we knocked a hole in their hull. Oh no, and I just missiled my own troops. Fortunately, I've made mistakes now, and that was a big, big mistake on my part. Missiling my own crew is definitely something you want to stay away from. Where is their shield bay, weirdly enough? What am I missing here? Oh, I'm in it. So if you ever need to, like, dodge somebody right now, since they're attempting to jump out, my new strategy is going to be to blow that the hell up. But we also want to make sure that we teleport them off board before any further victimization is done. So there's that. Unfortunately, we weren't able to kill them. It's not so bad. I mean, we've got ourselves some combat experience, I would hope. A little bit anyways. I wouldn't have pulled out, except that I think they're trying to jump out of the system. And so, yeah, we're going to accept the surrender. That drone is obviously going to power down. I'm going to have people kill it. In fact, I'm going to have these 2 mantises kill it. Whereas all these guys need to go in there and heal that up. Go ahead and vent that so there's a bit more oxygen. Let's put Jorlak back in. Okay, Jorlak is where he needs to be. And actually, we need people to heal. So we're actually going to have to take a little bit of downtime here. That fight, we actually didn't sustain as much damage. That fight, if you were following my mindset, that actually felt like we were losing, but we weren't. Trust me, look out, we didn't lose any hull. We actually ended up with a net positive. We have loads of missiles, so losing missiles isn't really a big issue either. Let's put him back in his place. These 2 guys just need to heal. And while they do that, we'll jump to the next sector. There's like so much stuff we could potentially be doing here. I'm going to check this store. I doubt there's going to be anything that I really want, but we've got so much time in this sector that I feel like I'm wasting valuable resources if I don't at least swing through here. We're going to grab some of that. Let's have a look at our stores. We have an anti-personnel drone. Just kind of an interesting option. I'm sorry, no we don't. We have a beam drone. I think since boarding is going to be our main option here, I'm going to get rid of that. And I would love to get a defense drone before we go much further into the game. But for now, I'm just going to sell that. And let's have a look at our ship here. Figure out if maybe there's anything we could allocate points into. I think if we're going to be doing the teleporting, we definitely should probably upgrade that. Some people are going to say that that's a worthless upgrade, but Teleport 2 is good, in my opinion. It lets you jump off their ship a little bit quicker. As you saw, there's a tiny cooldown period for ships using teleporters, so... You want 2 drone parts for 7 fuel. Yeah, we'll take that trade. And it looks like that's going to be the end of the trail for Sector 4, unfortunately. Yeah, let's pick a fight on our way out of town here. Trying to escape. That makes this fight play out a little differently than I expected. But they don't have a med bay either, so potentially we could kill off their entire crew fairly easily. Let's jump on over and hopefully we kill everyone, or at least disable the engines before... I think this fight should go in my favor. Oh, they're through the shields. Unfortunate. So let's get repairs going there and repairs going there. Because busted shields are not something that I'm interested in dealing with. Our boarding crew has managed to kill what I think... We are taking some damage though, unfortunately. What we might think about doing, actually, is lining up another boarding party right here. And as soon as these engines go down, I'm going to stop hitting them because there's no point. Ah, the crew is dead. You search the ship. We get a Burst Laser Mark 1 and a 46 rounds of scrap, so that's pretty good. We also took a final missile. That last hurrah of the enemy. That fight was actually not worth the amount of damage we took. I don't think, anyways. Took a little bit of a pounding there, but on the plus side, we are still within jumping range of that other store, so I think we might be able to make it back and repair. I can't guarantee that as a result, but I think we're getting closer. Our boarding party's showing a little bit more expertise when it comes to boarding ships, and this play is taking way longer. Usually I die quicker than this. Usually I die much, much quicker than this. I will say that. Can I make it back to the store? Oh, I can't. Wow, that snuck up on me nice and quick. Well, next sector it is then. We can go to the Rebel sector or the Slug Nebula. I'm gonna go to the Rebel sector just because slugs and nebulas together don't feel like a really great combination for me. I'm gonna go to here, and hopefully we can jump kind of back and forth like so. Asteroid field. Alright. And we're up against an enemy that unfortunately has no oxygen inside his ship, but... Oh, and he cloaked too. Damn. I don't think he actually has the weapons to lay us out, though. First big burst. As you can see, there's no oxygen on this ship, but we should be alright. They should be able to knock out the cloaking device before he cloaks again. At which point we can kind of get ourselves snuggled in nicely. Well, I hope they're gonna make it. There it is. Okay, so that jump was very, very close. What we should be concerned with now is actually getting them healed, because if we catch a random... Ooh, and they ducked that shot at the perfect time. As soon as they get the oxygen back up and running, we're going to jump into here. The blast door should contain the fire a little bit longer. Their cloak is now down. And so I'm going to focus everything we have on their weapons. And I'm now eating my words with respects to... Oh my god. So that fire is getting around there. See if maybe there's any way we can kind of slow this down a tad. This is kind of going in a direction that I'm not appreciative of pretty quickly. I'm gonna swap over to ions just to preserve missiles for a minute. Oh, and there it is. Asteroid did the job for me. Hooray, geology. Nothing like a well-placed bolide to make sure that you win. 47 scrap, 3 fuel, and some drone parts. Hopefully nobody keels over trying to put out these flames, because there are a lot of fires to be dealt with. Let's go ahead and get everybody situated in a place where they can help out with this, because these fires are getting really out of control. Alright, so they've handled their deal. And there's that right there. Not too terrible. I'm hoping we'll run into a store pretty soon, though. All three of you guys are healed up. Let's go ahead and rotate everybody. Rotate everybody through Nurse Jenny's place. As soon as everybody's got some TLC, we'll rearrange them back to where they need to be. Okay, so let's take Jorlak, get him back to there. Bovie's in the back. Matthew is over here, right? No, he's the pilot. He's already there. Never mind. Astad, my boarding guy. Nicola. Hector will go over here. There we are. So everything is now perfect. Is everything powered up? Yay, nay, hey, way, oy vey. You. Okay. So this could be bad. So we've been boarded, but that's actually not the worst thing that could happen here. I was actually concerned about something else happening. Being boarded, definitely not the worst way this could play out. Trying to deprive us of our oxygen. But I don't think they're actually going to be successful at it. We're going to eat a solar flare, but I think if I act quickly enough, we shouldn't sustain any damage from this event. Oh, we're already ready to get the hell out of Dodge. I'm actually going to eat the first solar flare so that my boarding party will be healed. And that's exactly why. I had a feeling it probably wasn't going to land. I mean, there's only so many squares it can land in, and when 6 of them... I mean, there's like a 50-50 chance, I think. I haven't counted the squares. I'm sorry, not a 50, like a quarter chance that it'll land in one of those side areas, so... Or in an area that doesn't really matter. Alright, now we make the jumps. And another asteroid field. We're actually getting a lot of interesting What does he got? A attack laser, burst lasers, missiles. Yuck, we have problems. First Artemis is going straight to the drones. The second one is hopefully going to destroy his weapons. I'm going to go ahead and arrange people in locations that I want them to be. We're also going to jump over and start working on these shields. That is sort of what I was concerned about. Let's get them on out of there. Now that they're back on board, their sabotage is complete. Our burst laser is down, unfortunately. Gonna need to reactivate that quickly. Did they just teleport a bomb onto my ship? They did. They teleported a bomb onto my cockpit. Lovely. I think I'd actually prefer to finish off the shields at this point with another Artemis missile. And the burst laser should probably be going towards their weapons, since this fight is rapidly becoming kind of a struggle for survival. Swap on over to the ion weapons now. They should actually get killed by the next asteroid. There it is. Another nasty fight, but one that we've managed to pull our way through. 56 more scrap. Let's go ahead and get our boarding party into a location where they'll be of use to us. And actually, people need to be healed. Let's get Giles in there. Caldwell's okay. That's such a civilized name for a mantis. Although I suppose that's maybe a little bit presumptuous. But I feel like mantises would have like names like like a bunch of clicky noises, you know? Lots of Z's in there. Let's get Jorlak back to targeting. Alright. How are they doing on boarding? They're actually doing really well. Good. And we've got a distress call in a store. I'm gonna go to the store first. We do need drone control, but we don't have any drones. An automated reloader would help and make us fire faster too. There's a lot of interesting things that we could kind of stock up on here. First and foremost, let's maybe repair up to there. Long-range scanners can be nice. Kind of in a tough spot though. I think maybe I should put some points into weaponry. Because that puts us at a really nice spot where 2 lasers, so we have a 5 laser burst along with an ion cannon, and I feel like that does leave us in a really good spot when it comes to fights in space. It should allow us to just blast the living hell out of anybody that really tries to get up in our dome. There's a rebel automated ship. Yeah, let's teleport online. We're able to access and download the scanner's archived information. I actually would have rather fought him considering he has no shields. Well, damn. I didn't think about that encounter. Let's take a little bit of a long way around so that we can get some encounters in because we are going to need more scrap. Alright, so this one's trying to teleport away. I'm going to put them straight into the engine room for now. They do have a lot of hardware, and that missile launcher right there is going to hurt like a bitch. We have to hope that our evade carries us through on this one. So let's lead off with an ion blast. We need to get them off board. Now that they've dealt a little bit of cumulative damage. And if he targets my medbay right now with a missile, we're going to be in just deep, deep, deep doo-doo. Oh, and did I just waste an auto fire? I did. Damn. Alright, well, their FTL is still charging. I don't think... I'm going to swap over to the Artemis and maybe see if I can knock out the engines. But this is one of those fights that I don't see kind of resolving itself well. Luckily he missed with that rocket fire, and yeah, I was holding my breath right there. I'm gonna go ahead and put Artemises on the engines. Managed to get a little bit of damage off. Not gonna fire another Artemis or anything else. I'm actually gonna put an Artemis on his shields. Kind of give me a little bit of leeway with my lasers. Yeah, that's kind of what I was hoping for right there. Next Artemis is going to go back to the engines. Jump imminent, please. Untarget all of that, and then the final. And there it is. 28 scraps, some drone parts. Actually, not the benefit that I was hoping for on that fight. Little bit lower than expected. I'm actually going to go back through the store and try and repair again. My fear is that if we get to the final sector without any type of drone protection, we're going to be in a hairy situation. We're definitely going to need some kind of missile protection before we go into the final fight, I think. 2 fuel for 2 drone parts? Nah, not going to do it. I'm going to have time to explore one more, so that's what we're going to do. Nothing. Okay. Well, it was worth a shot. Let's go with Zoltan versus Rock, because I have a boarding build, and the Zoltan are weak to boarding. First Artemis is going to go straight for there. And then I'd also like... Oh, my borders aren't in the right spot. Funsies. Let's go ahead and we're going to board into their... Yeah, we're going to board right here. Ew, they have a defense drone. That is going to be problematic. However, I feel like we should be able to kill off at least some member of their crew right here. Oh wow, they have a lot of boarding drones actually. Now the benefit to all this is that while those drones were fighting us on board, they can't really come after us. What have we lost so far? Sensors? That's not so bad. I'll take sensors. Are we boarded right now? It doesn't say. Okay, good. Next Artemis, I think, is going to go at shields. And then we're also going to put full bursts on shields, just to see if we can knock them out for now. Unfortunately, we weren't able to. I'm going to continue with another Artemis. Oh, we only have 2 missiles left. Well, never mind then. Let's swap over to ions. And as soon as they're back up, we'll try and see if we can do some cumulative damage to the remainder of the crew. Have them help out with the repairs on the shields. We'll jump back in. Our ion blast is going to go out first. Did that miss? No, it didn't. Okay, good. And then what I would prefer, we've got 2s going there, we've got 4. Yeah, let's see if we can still whittle away these shields at all. God, what do they have, like an endless supply of boarding drones? God. Is that like the 3rd drone right there? It's crazy. I don't really know what I should even be shooting at this point. Unfortunately, they seem to have very good evade. Just sort of jamming me up. Since I seem to be unable to knock out most of their facilities. Seems to be a crew that is largely immune to boarding, unfortunately. And we don't have the missiles to deal with the rest of it. Luckily, they don't really have the ability to deal with us either, so this could just turn into a long, long fight. It's kind of what I was hoping for right there, but their shields seem like they have a lot of health too. Like, it just took like 3 direct hits and their shields didn't drop at all. Engines are now down. You guys go and help with the engines. O2 is down, so maybe we'll go with that route. Maybe knock out the mid bay then if I can. Or at least do a little bit of damage to it. Got problems over in our shield bay. Okay, so that problem's now solved. Let's send them back to deal with the oxygen issue one more time. Really? How are they out fighting me? Like, I understand that I can't get their mid bay down, but I think we're just gonna have to use Artemis to get rid of this. The lack of missiles on our part is really kind of hurting us. Fortunately, I can't decide if I want to finish the fight or jump out. I think we're gonna jump out. I'm not seeing a whole lot of positive options right here. We're just losing health to attrition, unfortunately. Let's get our handy-dandy repair squads in here to handle these problems. Okay, so we're back up and running. And I actually need Astrid and Nebula over here. Now, we don't have any money to buy anything, so we need to actually like get into some fights here and win for once. They're gonna board us, I can promise you. And I'm going to do likewise to them. Because I think I have more than enough people to fight them off. Okay, so their Mantis is teleported back, if you saw that. Kind of leaves us in okay shape. I mean, the fight is still not going to our favor. I'm gonna save the last Artemis to knock out their medbay one more time. Honestly, I probably should have been hitting them with volleys. God, that laser. 5 rounds, really? God. The next one I think I'll put on shields. They are unfortunately not all dead. Let's go ahead and put an ion in there, and maybe we can kill the last crew member. God, he always misses at the most inopportune times, I tell you that right now. And I think if you manage to get somebody up to max, like, he's got max targeting. I just don't understand how he's missing 4 out of 5 shots every time. It's one of those frustrating factors of this game that I just fail to understand. Every time. Damn. He missed every single shot in that volley. Like, what do you even do with that? Waiting for a lucky volley now. Get on in here and kind of head them off at the pass because you know they're coming here to repair it. And we'll see if we can't kill off these last two suckers. Hey, what are you doing? And there it is. Okay, so there are no more life signs on the strip. You strip it of all useful materials. 68 scrap. Not the benefit that I was hoping for, actually. That's a lot lower. Typically why I try and do boarding is because you tend to get weapons a lot more that you can sell at a store and get yourself stacked up with like some real resources. Unfortunately, we keep coming up against teams that are really strong against boarding. And with no missiles, it makes it kind of difficult to deal with them. Ideally, you want to board ships that don't have any medbay. Those are the ones that are the real victims. Unfortunately, I've put all my eggs into a strategy, and I have to live with that now. Let's check the distress beacon, I guess. Let's see. The distress signal is coming from a small space station orbiting an uninhabited planet. Their satellite defense system has gone haywire, and they can't approach it without being fired on. Let's go ahead and use our Engi. Our Engi is able to remotely fetch the glitch, and we get 64 scrap, some missiles, some other nice stuff, some other thingies that you want. I believe I'm going to go back and repair really quickly before the fleet catches up with us. And if we could go... God, do I have anything to sell? No. Pretty much out of missiles. I should probably grab a couple of those too. Let's go with a drone control. Wait, we have a system repair drone? When did we get that? Interesting. Well, it might be useful. Let's go ahead and get out of the way of the fleet here and see if we can get out of the sector. And they were waiting for us, unfortunately. He's got nothing left, so... I mean, he's got no shields. Means potentially I could cause him some pretty serious damage. Did anything fire right there? Oh, maybe it's not charged up yet. Teleport them back out. Definitely need to get them into a med bay though. Prefer to keep that cloak taken care of too. Pounding him pretty hard, but it's just not seeming to take. God. They have so many lasers. I don't like it when the enemy has as many lasers as I do. Makes me feel nude. And not in like that good I'm out in nature being nude way. Like in that this totally sucks, I'm completely naked and it's freezing out type of way. Alright, we gotta keep moving. Actually, the fleet is coming up on us pretty quickly. Nothing in this nebula. Got a little bit of time to play with, so I'm not gonna jump out too hastily. Energy storm. We're gonna search for survivors and equipment. We got 1 fuel, 1 drone part, and 31 scrap. And I think we're actually gonna leave the sector at this point. Ah, we're at the last sector. I don't see this being a win. Simply because I don't have what I need. Oh, there's a store. Well, maybe I can get what I need. Anti-ship might work. What does he cost? 2 power? Do we have 2 power? I doubt that we have 2 power. Let's maybe think about... Let's get some missiles then. We'll fix that. Is there anything I can upgrade here? I mean, there are lots of things I could upgrade, I guess. Let me power everything really quickly. Kind of see what it leaves me with. It leaves me with 1 extra power. Oh, O2 is powered down. That's what it is. Like, why is O2 powered down? Alright, well, that doesn't leave me with a whole lot of leeway for the 68 scrap that I still have. But I can put it into evade and hope that we get the scrap in the future. Let's head to the base. There's the ship we actually have to fight with. We may actually be able to get him. I just don't know sometimes. Alright, so this guy's here now. What I prefer is for the med bay to be taken out. Let's go ahead and get our borders going. Oh, never mind. The Artemis is going to be blocked by... Yuck. Okay, so we're going to have to rely on burst fire here, although these missiles are really going to hurt us. Let's go... I guess we'll jump into... the drone bay. Oh good, he heals. Oh, and they've got anti-boarding doors. Great. Let's go ahead and put the first ion out. Looks like our first ion missed. We're gonna have to open that window right there to get rid of the fires. What happened to my other guy? I thought I had another guy. I might be a little sketchy on this, but did he get lasered? Let's go ahead and teleport them back for now. God, my guy keeps missing with just... This thing's evade has got to be fairly substantial. Get them into the med bay really quickly. Oh, he's got a Mark III, I think. Yeah, he's got a Mark III, so he's shooting down the ion lasers. Yeah, I think we may be toast here. But we can jump, which is what we're gonna do. We might as well take a shot at the flagship if we can. Power that down. And anybody that's wounded, he's not gonna fire on us very soon. He's gotta actually charge up a tad. He also doesn't appear to have any drones, so get rid of the ion blast and give me some missiles. Ooh, and there he is right there. We're gonna have to brace for impact. We're gonna board him... God, I don't know. I think right there is looking like the real choice. With like surgical strikes at these weapons as much as we can. He's only got 4 shields, so potentially we could land a shot here. Almost. Story of my life, almost. Oh my god. Okay, so one of his guns is now down. I'm gonna zap them back and we'll have them help with some of the repairs here for just a few minutes. As soon as the Artemis is back up, we'll try and knock out this rocket launcher over here. I've actually only fought this like once before, so I wasn't quite ready for whatever was gonna be happening soon. God. The doors are out, so I can't flood anything, unfortunately. However, I do feel as though we can still recover from this and be alright. We just kind of want to avoid taking that big laser again to the face. And we really need our boarding party to be like Johnny on the spot here. Fortunately, they have to run through flames to get back to where they are. And as soon as he comes back up, I want that done right there. We have to kill this rocket launcher. If we don't kill this rocket launcher, it's pretty much game over for us. Now that that's back open, we'll try that. God, so much damage done. We do have those fires under control. Artemis is ready to go. So let's knock out... Yeah, why not? Let's continue just kind of blasting everything we can. In fact, let me think about maybe going... Well, we didn't make our shots there, but it's okay. Lastly, I need to get those fires out, like, right now. Let's get him healed. So they've destroyed the missile launcher now. We can pull them out. Not sure why that took so long. A little weird about the specifics there. I should probably get everything repaired so that he's not landing every shot. Our cockpit is out, which means he's going to hit us every single time. Put another Artemis on his remaining weapon. There it is. And I think I'm going to actually... The next burst of teleportiness. That weapon's not a threat at all to us. Like, it's not really a big deal. As soon as he comes back out of here, we should be ready to roll. Let's get you back on shields, homie. Is that... Oh, I thought he fixed a gun. I thought the fire came from that one. Okay, good. Let's go ahead and handle this guy really quickly. And then with respect to the Artemis, we're going to continue firing on his other batteries. Let's see if maybe we can do something about the shields, too. Oh, he was cloaked. That's what it was. They're stuck on board until he's done being cloaked. Okay. Well, I would love for you guys to be present on my first FTL win here. I've never actually won at this game before, and it looks like we're actually going to. As soon as they're back up and ready to go, I may teleport onto the ship. So there's a hit there. And we actually really solidly needed a hit right there. We're gonna keep all missiles going there. Oh, we set a fire off. Oh no, that was the best time cloak ever. Oh, so weak. So deeply upset right now. I feel like there is no hope for tomorrow. No, we've pretty much won this one. It's in the bag, ladies and gentlemen. And there it is. Oh wait, isn't there like a part 2? Oh yeah, we've got to keep up the assault. I was gonna say. We've knocked it partially apart. We gotta get back in here and keep fighting though. So this time I'm more aware of what I should be targeting. We're gonna jump straight to the missiles this time. And just wreck those up as nastily as we can, right up front. Did he board me? Oh, you jerk face. Oh, and that's actually a major issue right there. He's kind of forestalled our boarding party here. Actually, no, you stay here. We'll actually go... Well, I need somebody on engines, too. Well, unfortunately, it's looking like it's just the Mantis' problem to handle. Which is okay. He doesn't really have that much to threaten us with if we can destroy the missile launchers. Is it dead yet? There it is. Okay, good. It's dead yet. Let's get over in here. Oh my god. No way. I'm not even sure what to say about this. Like, how do you even deal with that many drones? I mean, I'm not positive how many... I can't get my guys off his ship off. Oh, I can, actually. Good. Let's go with that course of action. You two gents get in there and handle that. Shields, unfortunately, have to stay at their maximum capacity, although I think we're pretty much done. Well, not knowing about Phase 2 is kind of a bitch. That is a lot of drones that this dude is packing. Oh, and I let my mantises die because they suffocated. Well, kind of an idiotic move on my part. Nothing that can be done about it now, though. Let's fire an Artemis. Yeah, I mean, we gotta knock out that drone bay. And we missed, unfortunately. So we'll go full bore, hopefully knocking out a few of them. That appears to have done nothing in our favor. Just can't seem to make our shots, unfortunately. Yep, I think that's the end for us. God. It was a good run, though. I'm happy with it. At least we made it to the last fight. Just can't seem to get her done. And there it is. Well, thank you for joining me on our first Faster Than Friday. That was a really long run that I wasn't expecting. Hopefully next time we'll be able to go a little bit quicker. My name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me here at the Nerd Castle. Next time I think I'm going to try and be aware of Phase 2 and see if maybe I can come up with a strategy to knock that out. With 2 boarding guys, it might be a little difficult to go full boarding, but at least we got the missiles taken care of. Take care, guys, and I will see you next Friday.